Hello, everyone. It's time to talk about the Army thing, SSR. I walked away with him all seasons, practically. Winter, spring, summer, and autumn. And now I can already make some such less review. Since pretty long. I used it in various conditions. I took it last winter. Still there, well, maybe in February, somewhere. Even most likely already closer. By spring, probably in March. And so basically pretty. Used it a lot. And went camping in the spring and went to the islands with him. And on long trips too, I used it. Basically everyone was satisfied. And now about him in more detail. I will tell you what its advantages are. What are his downsides? So well, that's the actual. Sat down to take a break. And at the same time, I will make such, well, everyone already saw. We'll show how I stocked my backpack and tell. Why did I take him? Then I took it because my torn already straps here. Here's that pocket. Very wholesome. Here it moistens at me and the stove. Pinch and tagging on. And that's the thing for kindling fires, also useful. Also put a spoon here. Everything she is always here. Material very dense, this one already. Definitely won't break. So the bag itself holds quite a lot of things. How did you see? I put a raincoat under my back. Kyo was soft. And so he is quite such a universal, unfolds more. It gets smaller, and you can still hook on the side. Here I will attach a rug. And on this side, sleeping bag will acquire over time, or some tent there. And what's most amazing, even though the straps are thinner here, but he turned out so much more comfortable. The center of gravity is much better than that. Of my previous backpack, and going with it is much more comfortable. Well, still from the Army, I know that this is a very durable and reliable demolition thing, and there is no everything. I tried to find her somehow. That is, well, for free, as if, well, but had to buy, since everything. Basic my backpack strap ripped. What about this backpack will never happen, and had to buy me in the military. Well, then he cost me 800 rubles. Well, if you staff it correctly, then this is quite such a convenient thing, because if you put something on, it will rest in the back. Well, under the back, let's say I put such. I have a raincoat, that is, and sit on it, and it turns out as if the back is soft. That is, to staff it correctly, and everything is fine. And the same his, and plus then, that he does not have such hard walls in it. That is, it is generally there is in a lump to crumple, and it practically does not take up unlike space. Other backpacks, which do not fold. That is, and even empty, they take up quite a lot of space. That's exactly the reason I already am. I have long wanted this particular backpack. I do not constantly go with him, of course. In some situations I take, and another backpack, especially somewhere there. To the islands, well, I'm going there with a night out for a few days. I don't use it. Using a different backpack. More out impenetrable. More voluminous. Well, and by the way, despite its appearance, so well compact. Like he seems small. That backpack is very pretty like that. Also roomy. Plus besides he has side straps. You can still attach something there. But not particularly voluminous. How would such some big, thick thing bag fail? And they are a little, as if over time they weaken, as if that's minus the lack. And so very much you can stuff if there is little there. Something. That is, it becomes smaller. If a lot, then more, but especially much. Big weight. Especially on the shoulders, but a little difficult to carry in it because the straps are thin and will push if especially as if, but if not in winter, it's in winter, okay, as if the jacket is there as quilt, as if softens it all. But when in summer, then presses shoulders very much. That is, in such hikes I take already. Another backpack with wider, more straps. And immediately dispelling the myth of waterproofing, 10 fabric marketers everywhere say. What she doesn't get wet, but it related mostly to the coaster costume. One costume slide I bought based on this ad. Thought she was not getting wet practically, but now I know it was all a marketing ploy. Soaking really good. Any 10 fabric. Of course, not that fast. At first, there's water rolling off her. But if in the pouring rain, pretty long to be there. Well, half an hour there. Minutes, 20 minutes and 20. She already is completely wet and it becomes so heavy. And all wet that is. There's no such thing that she's well waterproof. These are all inventions of marketers. Well, someone will say that untying him is uncomfortable. But it's then kind of over time, it's pretty fast. Gets used to it. And in this too, you can say as if it's plus. Unlike lightning, it will still break sooner or later someday. And here everything is simple and everything is reliable. As if with time. If what? Here's that big pocket sideways. Into it, if anything is there, you get it quickly, then a lot of things fit in it. Also, he's stove-sized. The pinch is folding there just, and besides that more, very much. All the essentials can be stuffed. And in the main department, there's already something that what is already required directly on the halt itself. There are all sorts of bowler awnings. Raincoats there well for lining and all that. That's exactly what you need to get already on arrival. And this is how he arranged both the knife and the saw. The knife is not always comfortable to wear on the belt. That is, when I sit down he rests. And saw also to always have everything at hand on these straps. For rambling like this way. If nothing else. You do not have then, in principle, it is suitable for that. To use it all year round in any seasons. But I here prefer, let's say it's better to use in winter. Because he does not dub in the cold. However, there are all sorts of rubberized backpacks. And that is rain in winter, as if well dry weather. I see as if that rain he does not threaten me. Can. Take it, he doesn't get wet. How would you put in the snow? Nothing scary will happen to him. Well, in the summer, he was also very useful to me. I went on a very long hike with him. Here in this video, I went to the train station. And everything I needed and could be useful. It fit in without problems. Side straps. This is, of course, an indispensable thing. To unload the bulk of the backpack or something. There to rush what? Well, let's say like a raincoat. Not to reveal if the downpour goes. Or a main compartment. Just unpacking it. Here on the right, I have a raincoat attached. Left extra. Well, jacket if anything there. Suddenly it will be cold there. Because I've been driving for quite a while. But I can say as if this one is like it's thing bag, not thing bag. Sleeping bag. I was looking in the shops. Pretty there, so fat as if he well hardly fit. That is something quite thick, especially. Well, not to rush here as if in this, it's certainly minus. Well, it would be perfect at all if the bottom would also, with such straps. Very convenient it would be there something so more heavy there. More type of tent fasten or mat. Such something voluminous, because sounds if anything so big. Fastening is not really it. Well, how did I see? Somewhere in some video from some blogger here, on these side straps fastened. They fastened a blanket. That is, as if it curls up and half arc as if here. In this form it was fastened. I do not remember any foreign bloggers. I saw that option too. Well, personally, my opinion, this is my opinion, such a backpack must be, even though there's another backpack. That's how in my case, as a spare, let's say sure, whatever. Here are these basic my backpacks, which I will break now. And if that I have as if to stock. Always unkillable, eternal. Here's that backpack, which will always help me out. Great place. Such a hut, of course, to build. A lot of effort is needed. Was driving very far by car. First on the way, then through the woods. Climbed on a bike. Driving a bike. In such trips on the bike trunk, when no longer off-road, so normal started. And here I was still driving through the forest. These are the places I sometimes find. Interesting, well, lately to those who uses this all sorts of Soviet equipment. I hear well such words that type, well, we live in the Stone Age. There are modern equipment. Equipment is, there is, yes, she is, but price tag's been completely different. Let's say the backpack is from Cordura. Watched I hear just, there are such price tags, 1,2,000, 30,000, is it 5,000? Backpacks are big. That is quite like, well, if you compare with 800 rubles per thing, which will be serve forever. Of course, yes, there is a desire to buy this. But damn means. I feel sorry for spending such money so far on stuff like this, on such backpacks. Well, I'll hold everything a little bit now, still, and ready like this. By the way, thighs are comfortable to fry, convenient to flip them. And then on one skewer, they do not much roasted. You flip them and they are cranking. And now they are roasted, solid steels.